The industry as a whole is suffering greatly from a serious labor shortage and a very slow return of what used to be our regular labor force.
As moving day across Quebec approaches on the 1st of July, what's usually a hectic time for moving companies now brings an added challenge. Meldrum, the mover based out of Montreal's NDG, says the lack of staff, something being felt in many sectors, is limiting their services during this busy season.
Simply just not as many crews out on the road. That's really what it boils down to. The labor force just isn't there. And what labor force is there is not always properly experienced, properly trained, and it does take a while to train staff to do what we do. If they're not there, we just can't take on the additional moves.
Since the pandemic hit, some of the staff haven't made a full return.
We are obviously a very seasonal business, so we rely heavily on our returning workforce every season. Well, with the government subsidies, that workforce was very slow to come back, and it's caused some very significant challenges.
With seasonal workers, yes, there is a shortage of it. Where they go, I don't know. I guess they're relocated, or some people, I guess, more the delivery stuff, going to delivery like Amazon and stuff like that, or Uber. I guess the moving business is not interesting for them right now.
Which creates a headache for some of the crews working on the ground.
We had guys that were trained, and now the new labor that's coming in, we got to retrain them. Sometimes it's a little bit harder. We don't always have the guys who have the capability of doing this job, because it takes a lot of stamina, a lot of hard work. Some guys don't want to be, or not able to do this. I was able to keep all my guys through all this pandemic stuff, so I'm one of the lucky ones, but there are other crews where it's more complicated, more difficult, and more challenging.
Add to the mix the rising costs that comes with transportation.
As much as we try not to, obviously that does trickle its way through to the consumer.
But as we approach moving day, some say the industry is slowly getting back on track despite the challenges.
It just seems like one major hurdle after the next, and it's been that way for the past few years. I hate to admit it, but I think we're kind of getting used to dealing with major issues.
In Montreal, Alyssia Rubertucci, City News.